Hi everybody, it's Tracy here from Temperance Tarot, and I'm going to do several videos over the next few days. I've got plans to do my wrap-up video. I know I missed November, so I've got to do a wrap-up for November and December of the decks that I used. I'm planning to do Simon's Tarot Shelf, but I'm going to be cleaning out my sacred space, my reading room, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to be filming little bits while I'm doing that cleanup to show all of my tarot and oracle decks. And I'm planning to do another video, which I'm just going to I'm planning for about 3 more videos after this one while I'm off work this week. Do want to apologize for the lighting because it is supposed to rain here or be cloudy for the next 7 days. So I can't wait for a nice sunny day. Anyway, this video is about the journals and planners that I'm planning to use in 2019. And I'm a classic Sagittarius, and I have a hard time with doing anything for a year and doing full follow through. So I'm allowing myself to not do it if I don't want to, because that's who I am, and there are things about myself I want to change and want to be better about. That's one of those things that I can just let go of. That's who I am, and that's fine. To start out briefly, I want to talk about what I used in 2018. And for tarot, I didn't use as many. I'm going to use more. I'm going to try to use more in 2019. But for tarot, I have this book. This is actually a sketchbook that I got from Barnes & Noble. I stuck a sticker on the front of it. And this is just my sort of tarot musings. These are daily draws, Instagram challenges, mostly Instagram challenges and things like that. And that's what this is. And I have not finished this book, so I've still got plenty of space in that. And I will continue to use that one in 2019 as I have in 2018. In 2018, I started trying to do this. What will I do to feel the way I want to feel? The Desire Map Planner. This was an expensive planner, and I stopped using it. Oh, looks like sometime in the middle of July is when I stopped using it. And I was not real pleased with this planner. First of all, because I sometimes miss days. Every day in this one is dated, and when I miss days, it made me feel guilty to skip days. So I didn't like that aspect of it. It was, for what it was way too expensive. It always gave you a soul prompt and a schedule, and I don't use these planners for actual scheduling. I do that all electronically. And the prompts on the page were far too repetitive. You know, you were getting the same prompt about today my heart feels or something like that way too often. So this one, I'm actually not even going to save what I wrote in it. It's not worth me looking back at, and this one is fixing to go in the trash. Another one, sorry, threw it on the floor. Another one that I used in 2018, I started out using the Tarot Tracker, but I had the same problem with the Tarot Tracker that I had with the Desire Map Planner, in that it had specifically dated pages, and if I missed a day, you know, there was just blank space, and I don't like that. So I switched to one of these. Let's see, it's just a page-a-day journal where you don't have the date pre-populated, you write it in there. And I was doing pretty well with that. I think I got, because it, you know, you didn't have to skip a page. And again, something happened at the end of July, the first part of August, and I just stopped doing a lot of my journaling. Oh my. This one was kind of nice because it had little quotes at the top of each page. But, you know, what I was using it for, which was some daily draw stuff, I ended up just doing it in here. And this one I was really good. You know, I've been really good about continuing to write in this journal. So it just wasn't necessary to have a second journal for daily draws and things like that. So that one ended up not being used. I also used the Biddy Tarot Planner, probably until about the same time. I've already put that one in the recycle bin. It just, again, it wasn't working for me. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with any of these. They just didn't work for me. And I don't know that what I've got lined up for 2019 is going to work for me any better. This is the only one that I'm absolutely certain will work for me because it has in the past, and I know I'll use that one. So what else I have for tarot is I have one more journal. This is called A Year of Tarot. I got this off of Amazon. It was $10, so it was a whole lot cheaper than a lot of the other ones. And it has an annual tarot tracker in it, which is something I've never been good at keeping track of, so I'm going to try. We'll see how far we go. You know, how many of the major arcanas did you pull? How many aces? How many twos? How many threes? How many pentacles? How many, etc., etc. And then it does have a cheat sheet in it as well that shows you, you know, the meanings of the cards. Very basic. It is not dated, predated, so you can start it at any time and, you know, use it as long as you like. It has 3 card spreads with some suggested positions. Let's see, get this. Some suggested, you know, meanings for the positions. Then lots of place to write about that particular spread. You know, you've got card 1, card 2, card 3, and then a summary. And then it also gives you a spot to write your weekly observations and your weekly reflections. I don't use tarot predictively, so this might be more journally, which I'm actually planning to do someplace else. So we'll see how this one works. But since it was only $10, I don't feel too bad about trying to use that one. And then I have another of my own created little white book that I have created, but it's just, I don't like what it's in. I'm just never really happy with anything I do. So I'm going to try something else. This won't be just for 2019. This will probably be moving forward. But this little book that has been out of print for a number of years, I managed to snag a pretty pristine copy off of eBay for like, I think I used eBay bucks and I paid $1.50 for it. It is, if you've ever seen the Terra Nova, the little mini Terra Nova, this is where you would have gotten it from, because it was their little punch out pages with tarot cards on them, and this one has all of them. Apparently this was a Valentine's Day for Kim from Anne in 2004. I kind of like that. And then it just has a page, pretty much a blank page for each of the cards. And then it has a little thumbnail of the Terra Nova card and a little their little interpretation. So I could use this as my little white book to, you know, corral my thoughts on the meanings of the cards. I did my little white book probably 2.5 years ago, and I think it's time to do some revisiting of the basics. So that's what I'm going to do with that one. So those are the tarot journals. Now, the sort of self-development journals that I'm going to use, this is one that I got for Christmas, and it's new, and it's Vertel's Chapters. It's very prompty. It gives you lots of prompting things, and some of the questions and quotes I might actually draw cards about, and sometimes I might just write what I'm feeling. But it is pretty redundant, I discovered as well. Here's the first day. Fortunately, it is You Date It Yourself, which I really like, because if it takes me 2 years to get through it, I can still use it for 2 years. But you talk about what you're grateful for this moment, what's going well, what could go better, which is highly reminiscent of what I have to do in my performance reviews at work. And then what drives and motivates you in life right now, and a reflection on your day, score your day. Then, you know, we move on to the next day. Sometimes there are little paragraphs about gratitude, happiness, that sort of thing. You'll have assignments occasionally. So do something you'll be grateful for this week. Write down what it is. It has got quotes running through it, but the one thing I'm really kind of hypercritical about is the quotes are not attributed to whoever said them. and that's a real problem for me. But I haven't read the beginning and the end, so they might have written them themselves. I kind of doubt that, but there are things like, what will you start doing in the near future? What will you stop doing? So it's not completely the exact same every day, but there are a lot of days that are very much the same. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to start that one until January 1st. The other thing that I'm using for sort of a self-reflection, and this is hilarious, it is the Star Darlings Wish a Day Diary. Now, in my soon-to-be filmed November-December wrap-up, I got the Star Darlings wish cards. And it's a sweet little oracle deck. You know, I paid $7 for it. I think it would be great for a teen or a preteen, but I'll talk about that in my wrap-up video. Along with it, I got this little diary that came with a story at the beginning that I just ripped out because I might be 14 sometimes, but I'm not 14 all the time. So I took the little story and ripped it out, and it was very easy to just rip out the pages. But it has a little statement. It's an undated diary, and you can see I've already started using it. And it's an undated diary, so I can just write in it when I get the feeling. And each page has a little saying or a little affirmation of some sort on there. And what I've been doing with this one is, it's like this one: failure is an opportunity to begin again. What's your next beginning? Well, I started to answer that question, and I started talking about failure and how I felt about failure and stuff like that. So that's primarily what this one's going to be. Because it's kind of funky and pretty and girly, I have a feeling I will pull for it frequently, but it'll probably take me a couple of years to use all 365 pages, and I'm okay with that, if I even use all 365 pages. But I'm still writing in this one, so yay. And then I have just a plain journal. These are beautiful. If you haven't seen these before, I think these are made by Peter Pauper Press. They're like $10 to $12 on Amazon, maybe $15 for some of them. They've got gilded pages. They're really pretty little journals. This is just going to be, you know, like I'm going to be studying some chakra stuff this year, and I'll write down my thoughts about what I've read, you know, things that I want to remember, because if I write it down, I have a tendency to remember it better. So things I'm learning. And then lastly are my witchy books, my witchy journals, my witchy planners. I've never considered myself a witch. I have never really done any real spell work. But for some reason late this year, I've begun to be called to do some of that. So I've got a couple of things that I'll be using to help me get started with that at a very small level. Stuff like this for me has to kind of happen organically and slowly over maybe a long period of time. I'm not one of those people who can say, boom, I'm going to start doing witchy stuff and just jump in. So I'm just going to start with small steps, little things, and not worry too much if it doesn't resonate with me, it doesn't resonate with me. But right now I'm really feeling kind of called to do some of that stuff. So I'm starting with the Witch's Date book. And also I want to read some of the little articles. You know, there's small articles, you know, little short things that will put me in a witchy frame of mind without me having to delve into huge tomes of study. And of course, there are several witchy channels on YouTube that I subscribe to and like to watch. The other book that I'm going to use to help me with this journey is this little Everyday Witchcraft by Deborah Blake, who did the Everyday Witch Tarot, which is, yeah. And this little book, I think, is lovely. And if I skip a day, it's no big deal. There is something to read or something to do or spell or something like that for every day of the year. And each one is only a page long. So you're not committing huge amounts of time to it. The reviews on Amazon said that it, you know, the little spells in it require very few ingredients. They're not highly elaborate or complicated, which is exactly what I want to start with. So I'm going to be using the Everyday Witchcraft. And again, if I skip a day, no big deal. But to be perfectly honest, I do want a grimoire. I'm not calling it a Book of Shadows. I prefer the word grimoire. And I went through the journals I actually already had in my possession, and I found this. This is another sketchbook. I love sketchbooks because the paper in them is just so fabulous. So this is a sketchbook. It's made by a company called Lang. They make calendars and stuff like that. And the cover of it says, "Teach me to listen to the song of the earth." And I just thought that would be a fabulous grimoire for me. And you can see I've already printed up my moon cycles for the year and a little wheel of the year thing that I'm going to stick in it. But this is where I'll put things like this, sticky things. I'm not an artist, so I won't be drawing. I'll write a few spells that I try that maybe I like a lot. And I have subscribed to the Witch's Moon. I think that's the name of the box. The Witch's Moon box, the one that's so fabulous. So the artwork and the things that I get from them will go into this grimoire as well. So that's a lot of stuff for me to try to use in 2019. We'll see how it goes. And maybe the end of the year I will update you again on what I used and what I didn't use and what ended up in the trash can. So I will see you all very soon again as I get started with my projects around the house. And thank you so much for watching and have a fabulous day.